With the release of Niobe Labs and the Berguzia Forge, many secrets and quests became available that further detailed the creation of Ada Wand and also what her mother and colleagues went through to create the Black Armory in the first place. Ada is pretty special because she's one of the only EXOs that is capable of forging weapons on her own, using her own body as well a forge. So today we're going to discuss how all of that was possible, what went down in the Niobe Lab so long ago, and more about the secret device we returned to Ada in a brand new cutscene. Welcome everybody, my name's Evade and let's get right into it.
Civics is still out there, eluding us at every turn. And I believe I found us a lead. Something about a Project Niobe. That facility holds many secrets. I'm sure of it. It's time we discover for ourselves what Civics is after.
So hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and I hope you are doing well. The Berguzia Forge is released and you can now take part in most of what the Black Armory DLC has to offer, excluding the Last Word quest and Crimson Days coming out later this month. But as Niobe and Berguzia released, so did various brand new quests which offer new exotics, lore, and also secrets to uncover. The first quest involved the mysterious box we've been holding in our inventory for weeks now. We've been holding up 3 keys and we finally get to complete it as of reset. Now after completing a bunch of different steps, it turned out that this thing awarded the Izanagi's Burden, which is a sniper rifle that can take a guardian down with just one shot to the body in the crucible. So that thing is pretty crazy. You got to use it a couple of times in some matches. It's okay in PvE, but Crucible is probably where it's going to come in handy the most, and I definitely recommend you go out there and do that quest if you haven't yet. But the second quest is called the Mysterious Datapad, which you acquire about halfway through the box quest, and the first step involves this weird riddle that sort of needs to be solved in the Niobe Labs. So in this video I'm going to start off by explaining how you can complete the Mysterious Datapad quest, which awards an emblem and a new cutscene, and then we're going to talk about all the lore behind it and the secrets about what it means. Now regarding the lore, I have made videos on this stuff before, Ada Wand's creation, what the device is, but at this point it makes way more sense now that we know the Obsidian Accelerator is in the game and it's also in Ada's possession. So to start the quest, you're going to need a full set of Black Armory gear, 3 Black Armory weapons, so the bow, sniper, and machine gun, and one person also needs the Izanagi's Burden. If no one on your fire team currently has that weapon, there is a guide in my channel right here or a link down below on how to get the Izanagi's Burden itself. But to start the Mysterious Datapad quest, you want to head to the Niobe Labs and pull the lever which is located under the Berguzia door. So this will load us up into a mission and then we gotta do the first step where we input a code. So first I'm going to show you the specific symbols that each person needs to shoot and then I'll show you the order in which you need to shoot them. So have the person with the machine gun stand up top in the center, the bow where I am over here on the right side, and then the sniper to my left. So for the person up top, the machine gun, you're going to shoot Storm, Star, and Hand. Next, whoever has the bow is going to shoot Missive, or the thing looks like paper, and also Morning, which is on the floor. Lastly, Sniper will shoot Temple up top there, and then the Black Armory symbol underneath the center of this area. So those are the symbols each person is going to shoot, but here is the order. So you do have some time to do this. You can pause this, look at this order, and then read it out to your teammates as they shoot them, and you'll be perfectly fine. So bow shoots Missive, machine gun Storm, sniper Temple, bow Morning, machine gun Star in hand, and sniper Black Armory symbol down below. So once that is complete, you will hear the ding letting you know that you've done this successfully. This will then spawn a new wave of enemies starting step 2. At this point, taken enemies and knights are going to spawn and the objective is just to survive. But the catch here is that the only way to take down the shields of the big guys is to use the Izanagi's Burden, so this of course is why one of you needs it. Once the shields are down there, destroy all of the enemies, survive for a bit, and you are good to go. For the final step, we're going to need to complete all 4 forges wearing full black armory gear and also the 3 weapons. So you're going to use bow, sniper, and machine gun plus the full black armory set. Scourge of the Past armor does not count, by the way. So once all that is complete, you've done the 4 forges with the armor and weapons, head back to Ada and she will have a new emblem and a brand new cutscene to play for you. Now unfortunately I wasn't lucky enough to get the last piece of armor I needed, or the cloak, to see this cutscene for myself, so fellow YouTuber Aussie Halo has allowed me to use his clip and I thank him very much for that. The link to his channel is down below and definitely give that channel some love.
Is that... You found it. Thank you.
So pretty cool, right? The emblem basically showcases that you've completed this activity. Nothing too much of course, but let's discuss the cutscene and what the heck happened when Ada inserted that Cortana looking thing into the back of her head. So for those of you that don't know, Ada's mother Henriette created the Black Armory along with 2 others named Helga and Yuki. Helga worked at Clovis Bray formerly, and Yuki was very smart on the engineering side of things. Now when all of this was going on, Adelaide, or Ada, was just a young girl and things were going well with the armory. New breakthroughs were developed, and this meant that if something were to happen to humanity, they could use these weapons to fend off whatever it may be. Ada's mother didn't like a couple of things though. So Helga wanted to build these forges to make these weapons more accessible on a mass scale. So putting forges like the ones we use now on different planets and people would be able to access them, but this was not Henriette's dream. Yes, the weapons were super important, but they weren't supposed to be spread out to everyone. That would lead to chaos. So of course it was not something she was fond of, but it did happen. Now second and most of all is that Helga helped develop something called Project Niobe. This involved the creation of EXOs with Black Armory tech and making them mobile forges capable of generating this tech on their own. Henriette hated this idea like the implementation of the forges, but again it developed into something and became a thing. One day the darkness would arrive here at Earth and began destroying everything as we know it. In this attack, Helga ended up dying and Henriette's daughter Adelaide, or Ada, was severely injured and nearing death. Henriette could save her daughter's life, but it meant doing something that disgusted her to give her daughter a second chance, and this of course was making her an EXO. As the darkness would invade again if it had the chance, they decided they need to leave the labs and finish building this EXO out there on the road. Well, today was horrible. We had some downtime, so Yuki wanted to test the EXO's new functionality. This was the entire purpose of the EXO in the first place, Project Niobe. Helga's great experiment to make our weapons more deadly through a sort of on-the-spot phase transition of the guns. In other words, a walking, talking forge. Years ago, it was just an idea. Now, it's a reality. Seeing the EXO discover her ability was, well, thrilling. It was nice to feel something other than dread for a few minutes, and a few minutes was about all we got. So the EXO here wakes up on the road and Yuki wants to test her new functionality. Shortly after this, the group was attacked by the first Risen, or the Guardians before the Guardians that didn't really have a purpose at this point. They weren't fighting for the light yet. These Risen wanted Ada and the Obsidian Accelerator. They saw how powerful she was and they thought, hey, we can use that could be part of our arsenal. Now next to just Ada, they also wanted the Obsidian Accelerator, which was a super important device used in the creation of the Niobe labs and its content. So after the group escaped and continued onward for a bit, the Risen did catch up with them again. At this point, Yuki was wounded from the previous encounter and didn't have much longer to live. Yuki is dead. It didn't happen like I thought it would. One of the men who had attacked us returned, this time with an offer. He wanted the EXO. He had seen what she was capable of at the back of the truck, how she turned our weapons into something even more deadly with nothing but her hands. The EXO stood, willing to sacrifice herself for us. I was horrified, but before I could say anything, Yuki lied and said that she had the Obsidian Accelerator, that it was in her backpack. The man approached her cautiously as she quickly looked at me. That one last look, the same one that had calmed me down so many times. She reached for the backpack as the man drew near. The EXO grabbed me and gave me cover as the grenade exploded, shielding me from the flaming shrapnel. Then she helped me up and we ran. I looked back once. All that remained now was Henriette and her EXO daughter Adelaide, who had no idea she was once human. They traveled for days to try and make their way towards the sea, but were delayed when they seen the bodies and wreckage floating out there in the waters. With that specific island not really being an option anymore, they decided to settle in a nearby camp where they once again began to get hunted by the Risen. We watched the camp burn from the cliffs. I saw the people with their drones fan out in all directions. I could follow the paths they cut through the darkness by the flickering of their drones' light. There's no time for anything else, and despite her concern, she has opened up to me. I'm removing the Obsidian Accelerator and sending her down the road. They can come and get it from me, not her. This is likely goodbye. Dear Adelaide, when those people and their drones found me alone at the deserted intersection, they demanded to know where you were. I offered them the Obsidian Accelerator. I gave it freely. You promised me you would leave me, and you did, but you never said how far you would go, did you? You stayed close enough to watch through your scope. As the man took aim at my head, I heard the shot and assumed I was dead, but it was him who was dead, not me. You were so far that none of us knew where to look. The second man winged me with another one of our weapons. He began to gloat about that, but another round from you shut him up. 2 more thunderous shots, and their drones were as dead as they were. I saw the glare from your scope disappear and I knew you were heading away. I know you must feel guilty, but don't. It was I who wronged you. I grabbed the accelerator and got as far from the shouts of the aggressors as I could. They've been on my tail. By now you're long gone and I've led those people back inland. I'm done running. The end of my story is close, as it probably should be. So I guess it's time to tell you a few things about, well, you. The end of your life should have followed its natural trajectory. I'm ashamed I changed it for selfish reasons. Does the name Adelaide bring any flicker of recognition? It is your birth name and you heard it every day of your life until the day I sent you without your consent into a new world. You became Ada-1 when I robbed you of your end. I've loved you since before you were born, and in trying to give you everything, perhaps I've robbed you of a final human experience, a dignified death. I know I will not see you again. If you want to know more about your past, know that you were born a second time in the Niobe labs. When you were wounded at the labs and I saw you were losing your fight, I did what I always did when the chips were down. I created something. You, Ada-1, from what I had almost completely lost. I did it out of the fear of losing you forever. I charted the course of your life and made decisions that were yours to make and not mine. I hope you find it in your heart to forgive me for that. I was naive, looked too often to the past. I just couldn't let any of it go. I never did have much respect for the natural order of things, and Helga, well, she was the opposite of me. She only wanted to grow the armory to see its full potential, and Yuki helped make that vision possible. The two of them spent as much time looking ahead as I did looking back. I realize now that there's a balance to life. You look backward a little, you look forward a little, but most importantly, you live in the here and now and appreciate what you have because you never know when it's all going to be snatched from you. Learn from our successes and our mishaps. Be bold. Do not fear the future, but respect the past and never forget where you came from. And try never to fear death if you can help it. I know I don't anymore. You know what's funny? I never considered how lucky I was for the time we had together, the envy of all the mothers who ever lived. I got to love you twice. Your mother, Henriette. Now, not sure about you, but I think that was a great story. This is just part of the annual pass. It wasn't something as big as Forsaken, but the lore behind it is incredible. Now, what I just read was the last note from Henriette to Adelaide revealing the truth about it all. She was created or born a second time in the Niobe labs, and this Obsidian Accelerator was lost when Henriette ran away from the Risen. So that is essentially what this is in this quest. We go out there, recover the Obsidian Accelerator, and return it to Ada, restoring her full power. So we can sort of see some of this evidence of the mobile forge thing from Ada's inventory herself. We know that Project Niobe said this allows her to become a walking, talking forge, and that's essentially what she can do now. Now while we don't see, weapons getting forged, she does have an Obsidian Accelerator in her inventory, which allows her to modify these weapons, add more damage to them, and make them stronger. And I think the thing that is kind of funny is that when we first started Black Armory, she's like, Guardians aren't welcome here, get the heck out of my armory. But at this point, it's pretty much the exact opposite. We brought up all the forges, she now has the Obsidian Accelerator that was lost for a long time, and things are looking just fine. Anyway, Guardians, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope the quest stops helped you out if you were just here for the lore, hope you enjoyed that as well, and definitely be sure to subscribe if you are new here. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.